let's make it a little bit interesting. Last week, Devon, you said that if you're aces and eights, you got to make sure you protect that mask and don't let it get ripped off. I'm here to tell you tonight that somebody from aces and eights is going to get their mask ripped off their face.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon.
Sit down, shut up, and listen up.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon here with you in what is a very somber edition of Pro Wrestling Weekly as we mourn the loss of one of our own, Wild Bill Melody, the longtime producer. Actually, he's been around as long as Eric Garguilo and I combined. But, he's been here for the entire duration of the program, and we lost him this past week, this past Wednesday. And, they'll have to be, I'm going to have to do something. Probably, your best or favorite country angles in wrestling. That's something we'll do for next week, along with the preview. Of course, Pat giving the old Double J strut the moment I mentioned that. But in honor of Bill Melody and of course his knowledge and affinity for country music, I know there have been a lot of country-based either wrestlers or storylines. And there are a few that jump out to mind. I guess what are some of your favorite? I know that good old JEFFJARRETT Jeff Jarrett. That was certainly one of them. We can get more into that next week, along with a preview of the Turning Point pay-per-view. And as you heard in the clip coming back from the break, Sting throwing it out there that because the masks are so important to aces and eights, that they're going to try to remove one, so that way it's not just Devon who has been unmasked. And we did find we at least found out the face of one of the other notable members of Aces and Eights. Hasn't really been given a name yet, and I think that's because with the lawsuit already going on with WWE, they don't want to take too many more chances as far as using names that were previously used by WWE, because WWE, they'll trademark anything that they can. That's why we were stuck with Team 3D instead of the Dudley Boys when Bubba Ray and Devon moved over, and they laxed on it. But at first, it couldn't even be Bubba Ray; it had to be Brother Ray and Brother Devon, because WWE was being that stingy about it. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon isn't. He's more concerned with that than the fact that his ratings are slipping considerably, and that's also leading to numbers not exactly slipping financially, but I think a little bit of that has to do with the extra ad revenue of that third hour of Raw that fewer and fewer people seem to be watching. The pay-per-view buy rates, though, up slightly from the last couple of years. SummerSlam especially was huge compared to last year. Over 350,000 buys as opposed to less than 300,000 from last year. And Night of Champions was up. Money in the Bank was slightly down from last year. But either way, WWE, as far as money, they're doing okay. But those ratings, they're struggling to keep a 3, just like TNA and Impact Wrestling. They're struggling to float above the 1.0 mark, as they've been kind of hanging around there in that 0.97, 0.99. I mean, in the end, it rounds up to a 1.0, but considering that before they made the move to Monday night for those 9 weeks and then came back, they were generally averaging like a 1.2, 1.3. So their ratings are down. Raw's ratings are down. Seems like the best thing going so far is, or at least in the current frame, is the main event show on Monday night, or Wednesday nights rather. I think we wish some of the stuff they did on Wednesday would be moved over to Monday nights. But, a great match this past week. Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, and Sin Cara beating Alberto Del Rio and the Primetime Players. And a 22-minute match in a 1-hour program. Meanwhile, on Raw, your longest match... Okay, you had a 14-minute match in the span of 3 hours, but only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches. I won't even count that rematch or restarting of the match between AJ Lee and Beth Phoenix. So 7 matches, and I mean, you're getting maybe a combined, 45 minutes of wrestling in a 3-hour program. Not exactly doing so well. Thank you, Denny. Denny's in the back, getting some phone calls, getting ready. At the conclusion of this hour, he is going to bring a 1-hour tribute in memory of Bill Melody, and I recorded a little something for that earlier as well. Of course, paying tribute to his contributions here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, as well as just him being a mentor in the business and a friend to me, and talking a little bit of everything from the weather to Flyers hockey, and just being very optimistic. It's a nice piece. Definitely want to stick around for that. And I'm kind of going all over the place today, and I think that's because that's about how I feel. I mean, between Hurricane Sandy earlier in the week and then finding out about Bill Melody in the middle of the week, and just trying to pick up the pieces, like the Average White Band song from '76. I don't know, another way of life imitating art or something like that. Anyway, here's some other news and notes, stuff that's been going on. I mentioned earlier the Hulkster settling one of his lawsuits. Hulk Hogan and radio shock jock Todd Clem, also known as Bubba the Love Sponge, they have settled the lawsuit that Hogan filed over the sex video that features Hogan and Clem's now ex-wife. In a statement, the good old Bubba the Love Sponge said, quote, "It is my belief that Hulk is not involved and has not ever been involved in trying to release the video or to exploit it or otherwise gain from the video's release in any way." Hogan, meanwhile, he took to Twitter to confirm his friendship status with Clem following the settlement, and basically confirmed that even though they have settled the lawsuit, that they are not, and he puts emphasis and capitalization on not, friends. So, I don't know, professional statement in one regard, and Hogan just kind of clarifying something else. Meanwhile, Gawker Media, they're the company that released the tape. They responded to the lawsuit that Hogan filed against them for airing a portion of that tape, saying that Hogan already admitted that he was an adulterer back in a 2009 autobiography. Thus, the video could not have caused him more harm, and they are also refusing to release the name of the person who gave them the tape, despite Hogan's demands. So yeah, that part's getting a little saucy. Of course, Hogan filing the suit against Gawker Media, he's asking for $100 million. I don't know if that's a little outrageous, but I think it's probably because a good $75 million of that's going to his ex-wife Linda, if he was to be awarded that. But I don't know. I don't know all the terms of their divorce proceedings. That's really something that I don't know. Do we really want to pay much attention to that? I don't know. But here's some positive news. I know it seemed like we haven't had a lot of it this week, but Jerry the King Lawler, who of course a couple of months ago had suffered the heart attack live on Raw, it has been announced officially by WWE that Jerry the King Lawler will return to Raw commentary on Monday, November 12th in Columbus, Ohio. That is 1 week from this Monday, just a mere 2 months after having heart surgery and obviously having that heart attack live on the air. He has been cleared to come back. We're looking at 9 days from now. He'll be back on Raw, and I guess that'll be the go-home show leading into the Survivor Series. So I'm sure we're looking forward to that, and I guess we'll see who the odd man or men are out in the commentators booth. Are they going to go a 3-man team with Cole, Lawler, and JR? Is JR going to be sent back to Norman, Oklahoma to make more of that awesome and delicious barbecue sauce? No, you're smiling at me, Pat. It is. I've got a bunch of it at home. Yeah, I actually ordered the stuff. Yeah, the hot barbecue sauce is good, and his main event mustard, it's a jalapeno honey mustard. That's some good stuff as well. Yeah. I'll have to bring it in, get some pretzels, something like that. Give it a go. incentive to bring you back here. Oh, man. Also, in case you missed it on Raw, Vicky Guerrero firing Beth Phoenix on Raw, the explanation being that Phoenix failed to defeat AJ in a Divas match. Guerrero restarted the match and Phoenix won, but was upset that Phoenix didn't beat AJ the first time around, so she was fired on camera. Off camera, she's been looking for her release for a little while now, so this looks like it was a storyline excuse to allow the Glamazon to part ways with WWE. Well, I mentioned earlier Sting and wanting to unmask. Oh, John. We'll get to you in a second. Unmasking a member of Aces and Eights, and at the end of Impact this past Thursday, we got the chance to see someone's face, and here's a little bit more on that, courtesy of the audio.
What a statement Bully Ray would make to not only Impact Wrestling, but to the Aces and Eights if he would have put Devon through a table. Devon of all people.
Impact Zone crowd roars their approval. Waiting for Bully Ray to do it. Oh, from behind, Aces and Eights, one of the members comes in to save Devon.
Not just one of the members, one of the biggest members. Look at the size of this guy.
Battle continues. Fights. Wait, Joseph Park? Oh, he has been begging to get at Aces and Eights for everything that they did to him, for all those weeks that he was being held hostage.
Oh, just right there, a shot to the stomach. You know, he's not a trained wrestler. He's getting in the ring. Probably shouldn't be in there, Mike. Especially the guy the size of this guy.
And now Joseph Park paying the price. Oh, my God! Whoa! I know that guy.
Well, that's a big man with an even bigger reputation.
Look out! An enforcer for some of the biggest names in the business, unmasked as a member of Aces and Eights. And Joseph Park just slammed right through the table. Sting's promise, it comes true. Key member is unmasked, but Aces and Eights have the last word.
And who is that unmasked man? Well, you might remember him in WWE as Luke Gallows, the former member of the Straight Edge Society under CM Punk. I know. Pat's making a face like, really? That's the reveal? Like that's who you got? He's making that face like, all right, where's the juicier name? I mean, and a lot of people had that reaction at Bound for Glory when Devon was unmasked as kind of the sergeant at arms of Aces and Eights. Like, you've been building us up for like 4 months, and you give me Devon?
But Devon's the bigger name.
Yeah, well, Devon's the more experienced name. I mean, you've seen him around now for closing in on 20 years. I mean, Luke Gallows, Luke Gallows was learning his ABCs when Devon first got into the business. So obviously, there's a little bit of a difference there as far as notoriety. But I guess they're working on it. It's hard to say where this is going and how long it's going to take to get there. And I guess there's that intrigue for it, but they I think need to do something to reignite interest in this because it's kind of fading fast, unfortunately. All right, we'll take care of our second time out, and I just got word from Denny O that we have a Pico update during the break, so we'll let you know how many in the local area are still without power. I know Pico's been busting their behinds, and I want to thank them for getting to our next door neighbor, which allowed us to have power on Thursday after being out for roughly about 69 hours, just under 3 days. So thanks to their efforts and their continuing efforts, we'll get an idea of how many more people still need to have their power restored in the area. Then we've got more news and notes. Of course, we've got Today in Wrestling History, Facebook feedback, and your calls as well. 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. There's also the Facebook feedback, you can go to the Facebook fan page at WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly. Leave a message on there. I know John's been pretty active over the course of the hour. John from the Northeast, and we've also got some new requests as well. I'll take care of those during the break, at least to the best of my ability. And we'll be back with you here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.